Chief of Staff John Kelly reportedly undercutting the president over his meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin. Now, Kelly was reportedly irate in calls that he made to congressional Republicans, according to the reporting, giving them the green light, quote unquote, to speak out against the president. Shortly thereafter, Rhinos Paul Ryan and Mitch McConnell did do press conferences contradicting the president and his statements in Helsinki. Joining us tonight, retired four-star general, Fox Business chief strategist, strategic strategist, and analyst, General Jack Keane. Good to have you here.
Yeah, good to be here, Lou.
You know, this reporting on John Kelly is not helpful, but he keeps ending up in the center of these ancillary stories to events that make you scratch your head and wonder what in the world is going on.
Yeah. Well, I find that hard to believe, frankly. I can't imagine Chief of Staff Kelly doing something like that. So I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt on it.
All right. This is, as I say, it's over and over and over throughout the course of his time with the president. And it's to me, it's unnatural that he, a four-star Marine general, would conduct himself that way. And secondly, to not be sure that it doesn't happen on a recurring basis, which unfortunately it has. Let's turn to the president's, when I think of the national left-wing media, I have to tell you, I think of a bunch of clowns. They have become outrageous, nonsensical, irrational, hysterical, hyperbolic doesn't even suit what people talk about. Pearl Harbor, for crying out loud. I mean, when I hear this nonsense, I can't even believe we're talking about the same events, i.e. the president standing next to Vladimir Putin in Helsinki at a news conference. What gives?
Well, it's staggering. I mean, certainly, on your show earlier in the week, we discussed what we thought was a mistake the president made, and he's come back and corrected that, and we should be able to move on here. I mean, frankly, Lou, the reality is Putin knows this, and here's what he knows. The toughest guy on Russia since Ronald Reagan is Donald Trump. Yeah. He knows that because he's the guy that's in the bullseye. And what am I really talking about? Starts with our defense budget. Trump defense buildup, comparable to Reagan defense buildup, which contributed to breaking the back of the Soviet Union. So putting more into the NATO defense budgets as a result of President Trump. That's $14 billion that he can be accounted for. More troops deployed in Eastern Europe. These are all things of major substance that really get his attention.
You know, I can't imagine, and as I said to you, I will always defer to you on geopolitical issues and certainly military issues. But what I cannot comprehend is the madness that is beset the national left-wing media in this country. And if they had been at least critical of President Obama as he failed to enforce a red line, if they've been a little critical of him basically funding the Iranian state sponsorship of terrorism in perpetuity with his so-called nuclear deal, where were they? And why did this president do nothing when the Office of Personnel Management was hit with cyber attacks relentlessly? Over 30, and the list goes on. And he never retaliated once. And the national left-wing media, absolutely silent.
Putin understood Obama, I think, very, very early on. He knew that Obama really wanted to avoid confrontation. I know for a fact that on the Ukraine issue, when the White House and the national security apparatus was considering providing lethal aid, Putin calls him and said, listen, I understand you're thinking about providing military equipment to the Ukrainians. He said, Barack, look, if you do that, you're going to put me in such a tight place that I have no choice but to escalate. Right. And that's going to be your responsibility as a result of it. Obama has always been paralyzed by the fear.
By the way, he did exactly what Putin told him to do.
Exactly. He's always been paralyzed by the fear of adverse consequence. He's always seen the exit ramp being the consequences of confrontation.
But meanwhile, it was not just Obama, but it was also Merkel. It was also the leaders of the entire European Union and, most importantly, NATO, who acquiesced as Russia took Crimea and inhabited a good margin of eastern Ukraine without effect. So this president, when he talks about paying for defense, raising their contributions, and step up your commitment to your own defense, I think makes perfect sense, because the history is weakness and absolute irresponsibility on the part of the I mean, I can remember the so-called elites of the left-wing media clucking because President Trump had the audacity and was so ignorant as to suggest NATO needed to redefine its mission and the way in which it conducted itself.
Yeah, if we really put a microscope on NATO and its capabilities, the defense budget is one thing. There's very little capability there. The Brits can deploy a brigade. Mm-hmm. That's what they can deploy into Eastern Europe. That's it.